You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It's your host, Brian Fullerton here, hanging with you guys. Well, good morning. Well, guys, today we have a special guest on the podcast for you. This is a rising star, little superstar going on. And I don't say little to belittle, but I mean, like, his company went from nothing to something in just the last couple years, and we've got him on the show. Some of you guys saw a little teaser of his business growth from Entrepreneur Academy Live, because he asked a good question during the panel. He's like, how do I keep up with this exploding business? And so, Owen, we got you on the show, brother. How you doing this morning?
I am nice and cold.
Are you guys dealing with the same beautiful, balmy weather that we are over here in Michigan that you guys are in Illinois, or what's up?
Yeah, it's nice and cold today, and then for some reason they're saying this weekend is supposed to be like in the 60s.
God, you can't beat that. You know what I mean?
No, I'm excited. We're going to get some cleaning of the mowers and equipment and everything. Start to get cleaned up.
There you go.
For the winter.
Well, there's our first plug for the show. The Ballard Inc. Mower Magic just came out. So if you guys want to pick up a couple bottles of that with the Brian's 10 code, just having fun. Actually, the only reason I say that is I was just talking to Corey this morning, Owen, and Corey's like, dude, we are selling a gob of this stuff because we got to clean our mowers, and all the people that are like super clean freaks, they demand the best, and that's a good product.
Yep. I was actually just about to place an order on that tonight.
Well, do Mower Magic instead, or get one of each, and then you can give us an actual review, So,
all right,
there you go. But and a lot of folks, I mean, you guys got to keep the mowers clean and give them a nice rub down at the end of the season. So there's a little plug already, I guess, for the Ballard products. So I got to send Corey a check in the mail, or an invoice in the mail, But no, dude, we're getting the same little worm spell that you guys are getting. It seems like, because next week we're in the 40s and 50s. We're going to be, tackling leaf cleanups as much as we can. We still got a dozen on the books and another 10 I could call to dial for dollars, I call it, and start getting some more in the till. Where are you guys at with the business? How much do you guys got left for leaf cleanups, or are you guys in the same boat of just kind of
we did most of them probably the last 2.5 weeks or so.
Okay.
Right during the cold burst, it was pretty rough.
Dude.
It was pretty chilly out some of those mornings, but we probably got, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 left that we'll probably knock out.
Cool.
I'm going to shoot for like maybe 5 tomorrow. I'm trying to keep it a light day. One of my guys just kind of came down with a cold or something. So
there you go.
He's out for the rest of the week. So,
well, we're all in the bonus round right now, this time of year. So it's,
yeah.
But I want to pad stats. I want to get the revenue as high as we can and make it that much more of a challenge for us next year. We don't want to sandbag, to the finish line.
Yep.
Well, before we jump down a couple different rabbit holes, because you and I were talking, and I'm like, dude, hold on, stop. We got to hit record. We're like missing all the good stuff, and we were just getting to know each other a little bit for the last 15 minutes. But why don't you give these guys the 2-minute highlight reel if they don't know you? Not everybody obviously was able to come to Entrepreneur Academy, and you were asking a couple good questions and a follow-up question to the panel, but get these guys up to speed about who you are, where you're from, and what kind of like what your business looks like today. Maybe like the highlight reel, if you will.
Yeah. So I'm 22. I'll be 23 in June, and when I was 14, I helped my cousin. He started a company, and I would work with him just to make a little bit of extra money, and kind of just always from that point on had a passion for just mowing yards, laying down stripes. It was just it caught me by surprise how much I loved it. So that was a little bit of a passion of mine. And then we both went to college, and I was in college for a year, did my first full year, and was kind of iffy about going back. Went back for my sophomore year for 3 days, and then I was like, no, I'm done. I dropped out and came back home, and I decided I was going to start a landscaping company. So that was September 2018. And then I was running part-time for 2019 and like probably into June of last year.
Wow.
And then we went full-time probably around June of last year, and then through this year as well.
What were you studying in college before you decided to go all in with the lawn care company?
I was double majoring. I was education and youth ministry, and then my minor was in psychology.
Oh, wow. Okay. What was the 5, 10, 20-year plan with all the career? What were you thinking about doing?
That is a good question. I know I've always wanted to be a youth pastor at a church in some sort of way down the road.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of realized right now is not that time.
Okay.
But maybe down the road with that, I think maybe just being some sort of social worker in a school setting might have been a good spot for me. That's kind of what I was thinking.
Oh, there you go.
But then I just kind of realized that the way the world's been going, it's kind of hard for me to sit there and be involved in it, even though, I could be that light. But it was just, I realized that probably wasn't what I was being called to at this point in my life.
Sure. Well, that's cool. Understandably. So you decided to start a green industry business. Were you already cutting grass on the side while you were going through high school and college, or was this something that when you cold turkey the college, you put this thing into high gear in the last 18 months, or what were they running parallel?
Kind of parallel, not on my own, but my cousin, he continued that company through college. And he was studying civil engineering, so he was quite busy. So he would ask me, I was busy too, but it was a little bit of a different busy. I was involved in a lot of just social events with school.
Okay.
So I had time on my hands to actually work. So I would go from school out by him for like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I'd knock out his 30 to 40 yards for him in like 3 or 4 days there.
Oh, wow.
And so I was doing that, and then he'd come out and work with me sometimes, like whenever he had a chance. And he's really, I give him credit because he's who got me into the whole industry.
Yeah.
I would have never really had my foot in the door if he never started that.
Okay.
So it was kind of cool. It was we had a bonding experience over it. His mother suddenly just passed away in like 2017, and so like that brought us together more, where we just got closer. We've always been really close, but where we got closer and we just worked with each other. And so like I kind of through high school just making some money on the side, and then like I said, freshman year of college, I was just kind of working with him, and I actually continued to keep doing his stuff up through this year when I actually purchased his company.
Wow, that's awesome. All right, well, cool. We're going to break this all down, man, because I'm excited about hearing the rest of this story and how you guys got to where you're at today. Maybe a quick tease, because that's what my friend Paul Jameson always says that I need to do. I need to tease so people come back after the ads, right, Owen? So,
yeah.
But the tease is, and you can probably fill us in with some stats and some numbers, but since then, business has blown up. Business has blown up to 6 figures and above. Couple guys, couple crews, if I'm not mistaken, and you were asking some really, really intelligent questions for a second, third year in business, entrepreneur and business owner, and I think the whole crowd was like, "What did you say again?" Or did you did you add a zero or something, or a couple zeros? So
yeah.
So we'll hang tight, because we're gonna hear it from today's show sponsors, and then I want to hear a little bit more about this story, because that's a good tease if one I've ever heard for a 22-year-old just kicking butt, and I think it's wide open for you over here. So let's do this really quick. We're gonna hear from today's show sponsors. We got bills to pay. We want to hear what's going on in our whole ecosystem, and then we're gonna come right on back. If you guys need lawn contracts, snow contracts, training resources, programs, coaching calls, right? That's all there at launchpreneuracademy.com. So I just want to say a big thank you for supporting that website. A bunch of you guys picked up the Whole Ball of Wax. Whole Ball of Wax promotion goes through Christmas Eve. That's 20% off that bundle. Normally it's $9.99. If you added it all up, it's like $3,200, $3,300 worth of resources on the website that you get for $9.99. And Right now, promo code ALLIN20 saves 20% there. So it's $800, right? That's a phenomenal deal. I'm just telling you, if you're going all in next spring, crazy value. By the way, we have a bunch of new resources already coming, and then a bunch more that we're looking to build through winter. And so all of those documents that get added, any of the training programs, any of the resources that we add to the website, you get free lifetime updates and upgrades to anything new. It will go up in price. The whole ball of wax will probably be $12.99 or $14.99. Don't wait to get access to all the resources that we have now. Phenomenal deal. And I'm telling you, we have 4, 5, 8 new resources that are going to be coming in the spring. Promo code ALLIN20 saves 20%. All right, guys. Well, we are going to jump right back in. We're not going to waste any time. We're going to send it right back over to Owen. Actually, you know what, Owen? Scratch that. I want to go down to just a quick tangent, a quick little rabbit hole, because I said something before we hit record about watches, and you said now you're a huge watch guy. So now, you know, I don't know if anybody listening to the show is a huge watch person, but what's your dream watch, or what's the photo on the fridge or the photo on the dream board? If you were going to get your dream watch or a couple watches, what are you into, brother?
Well, currently I have a couple Fossils, a couple Guess, and I'm actually rocking a nice Citizen right now.
Nice.
That I love. I have, obviously, pretty much anybody who has an iPhone, I feel like in our industry, tries to have an Apple Watch.
Yep.
I feel like it's a pretty convenient thing to have, especially, you know, if you're on the mower, your phone's in your pocket, and you see you're getting a phone call. It's nice to find out who that is. But,
sure.
There is, and I've never actually really been into them until very recently. So there's a couple really nice Coach watches that I just started seeing around.
Okay.
So they're pretty neat. And I tried one on the other day. I saw the price tag on it. It was like $4,300, and I was just like, so probably should got to start saving for that one.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome, man. Well, good for you. The one of my very first watches that I was into that I wanted for a long time was actually a Citizen watch, and it's the white face. It's like a stainless steel watch with the white face. It's got the chronograph in it, 3 black circles. It was one of my favorite watches back then. It was $200 to $400. I'm not sure what it is today, but actually Keith Kalfas has the same one with like a little kind of diamond bezel thing. It's a little gaudy, but it's totally Kalfas. If you look in his photos with his marketing materials, that's the one he wears. And I'm like, dude, I wanted that Citizen watch. It's back then $200 to $500, but good taste. Are you more of a classic watch guy, or do you like the smart watches? If you had to pick, which one are you putting on?
Honestly, I mean, smartwatches are cool and all, and they're cool with all their functions, but I like the old school, like the gears. I mean, I'm so into gears. I mean, obviously I'd love to have a Rolex at some point. They fascinate me the way they work.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely into the more analog style sort of stuff. It's a lot more, I'm kind of a gearhead, so that is just kind of what I love. So I definitely have to go that route.
Hey, there you go. I was on YouTube just the other day, and I was watching a couple of different. All my YouTube, like you guys know, you watch something and then more of it gets promoted to you, right? So I was watching a couple different watch review channels, if you will, and I watched one, and then they just keep getting promoted to you. There's a guy who, if you're into watches, there's a guy named Nico Leonard. He's just like, I don't know if he's British or Australian, but he's this pompous prick kind of a dude. But he's funny, and he's and I say that lovingly. Like he's just like this UK kind of a guy that just reviews watches all the time, and so it's always, I have no idea who he is outside of like being some YouTuber, watch. Fanboy, but he's got a cool YouTube channel, and I love watching his stuff. I watched all of his videos, and they keep getting promoted to me, and then that whole world like opens up, and they're talking, Rolex and Breitling and all these big boy watches, and building the dream, so it's kind of fun. But well, good for you, man. Well, there you go. If some of you guys are watch people, if you want to get on the podcast and talk watches, hit me up, because I think the only thing I like talking about more than lawn care landscaping and business and cash flow is talking about watches. And one day the goal is to like you said, they get the nicer ones. I've bought a couple of nice watches the last year and a half, actually. And so I'm very, very grateful. And
good to treat yourself every once in a while.
Once in a while, like I actually bought my 10-year in business watch about 2 years ago. It took me 13 years to get my 10-year in business watch because I was broke, and it just wasn't the right decision. But I bought one of those a nice watch a couple years ago, and it made me really. So every time I see like Corey Ballard, he's a huge watch guy. Like he's like the dream, right? He's got the $20 million company and the just cash flowing, and just seems like a pretty cool life. So every time I'm like watching his Instagram stories, I'm like, he's like, oh, here's the Ballard scraper and all this other mess. And I'm like, yeah, cool. But I'm like, what's on the wrist, And he's got some really cool like Bell & Ross watches and a couple Rolexes. But Corey likes nice things, and I like Corey, and I like nice things too. So, but anyway, I sorry if you're not a watch person, I'm sorry that you probably already hit skip, on the podcast, and I get it. That's fine. But for all of our watch aficionados, hang in there. You guys will get yours. I know you guys will as well. And Owen's going to be copping one of those Citizens, or even nicer here shortly thereafter. But so let's go back to your story, because here's the elephant in the room. What are you guys doing today? What's the business look like today? And then we'll kind of backtrack and put this whole story together.
Yeah. So beginning of October was like our last full week. It's kind of just trickled down since then with the weather changing, but that last full week we hit 274, 275, somewhere in that ballpark for just weekly maintenance customers.
Wow.
And it's definitely it's a little ridiculous that I started just under September 2018. So I mean, that it's grown that fast.
Now, 275 customers, that's what, like $25,000 a year in revenue or something?
Yeah, 25.
Something like that. Do you want to talk numbers, or where you want to give a ballpark of, are you guys over six figures with your company?
Yeah, we are.
That's awesome.
We, obviously, so with that scaling, a lot of it happened this year. So a lot of new equipment got purchased. So, with that, in theory, we made money. And I'm paying myself, so we made money, but, in my opinion, the way the whole thing works, I made more than what I'm actually able to say I made, because we actually purchased equipment. So
yeah.
That's a nice thing, because I have those assets. So to me, it's like, yeah, I've got that. That's what I made, because I was able to purchase this equipment with that.
Yep.
So it was the reinvestment part this year, but we profited this year. So.
Well, if you got some great cash flow coming in and you're reinvesting it into the business, that's something that I strongly encourage people to do. Their first, forever, number one, but number two, as long as you can, as fast as you can, as much as you can. People are always asking, like, what's your best business tip? I'm like, reinvest as much as you can, as fast as you can, as long as you can. Newsflash, Liz and I are still investing into the lawn company and this media company thing that we're doing, buying cameras and GoPros and, light truss rigs for our live event, and just weird stuff I never would have thought. But I said, we're trying to feed the goose that lays the golden egg. And, if it's a little emaciated, chicken, little bird, you got to feed it, And so you're super smart to not pull out of the business to get $400 to go buy a Citizen watch, because if you keep feeding the baby and the goose lays the golden egg, 2, 4, 5 years from now, you can go out and buy the Rolex, and you can, delay the good for the great. And so that's super mature. What are you doing to grow from 0 to 275 customers and over six figures in revenue, plus, just so you guys listening in? Owen's doing pretty well. He's pretty humble here. What have you guys been doing to get that many customers in that quick a time? That's my number one question, is how do you get new customers?
Yeah, so I love to go knock on doors and pass up, postcards and door hangers and that sort of stuff. And actually, I have a very high close rate with me knocking on doors, not so much when I have my other employees go out and knock on doors.
Sure.
But when I'm actually personally knocking on doors, my close rate is between like 40 and 50%, just on knocking on a door. I don't know what it is. I was born with the gift to sell stuff.
Cool.
Whatever that is, I'm great at it. Even if it means I just get them for one time and we do a great job. And they don't have us back the rest of the year, but then they come calling for the next year and they're like, hey, we just wanted to reach out to you, blah, blah, blah. We landed a lot of customers this year that way. But I'd say the biggest reason why we grew so much this year is because my cousin, like I said, he decided to step away from his company. So we took that over from him, and that was about 30 to 40 customers, somewhere in that ballpark.
So time out. Let me ask you this. So did you guys buy that transaction? Did he give it?
Yeah. So
how'd that work?
So we purchased his, and I was actually just on Green Industry Podcast, yesterday.
Oh,
so
okay.
That should be coming out next week or so. But, I discussed with him a little bit. The way me and my cousin set that up was, I don't even know if this is the proper way to go about it, but it's the way that we both felt comfortable with. It happened in July of this year, and I paid for 4 weeks worth of revenue from each customer.
So a month's revenue.
Yeah, so 1 month's revenue of his company.
Okay, that's not a bad deal at all.
No, so that's what we did. I didn't take over any of his equipment because I was kind of set with what I had, so I didn't really have a need at that point in time.
Yep. I was just gonna chime in. A lot of guys always ask that question, like if I'm trying to buy a business and 1 times revenue, 7 times net profit. I've heard all of it. And it's all right. You just got to figure out what works for you. I sold a route offer, 1x monthly revenue. It was 20 customers, $2,200. It wasn't anything fancy. I could have sold it for double that, maybe triple that. I also just wanted to sell the route off and get out from not underneath it, but get out from it. I didn't want it anymore. It was on a different side of town. I was consolidating my business. And when I always talk about buying and selling companies, to me, it's 2 transactions. One's the equipment and one's the customers. And I feel the equipment has intrinsic value. It's a mower that's $8,000 is worth $8,000, whether I'm buying it or not. Maybe you can get a fire sale buying the whole business together, and the guy just wants to give you 80 cents on the dollar, or you can give him 80 cents on the dollar for everything because it's convenience of him, instead of having to sell 10 pieces of equipment individually. But the customer route, I don't even care if it's commercial. I don't even care if they got contracts. There's no loyalty that those companies have to stick with you necessarily. So I think 1 month's revenue is a pretty fair deal because 30 days later you're cash flowing with everybody who sticks with you. So
yep.
Now, when did you guys acquire that business?
That was probably around. It was either July or August, somewhere in that ballpark.
This year.
Yeah. So
wow.
With his, it ended up working out because we actually had a longer season. So I was able to obviously make that money back and so on.
Oh, cool.
But the other extra customers that we got, and this one was kind of planned for in the beginning of this year. One of my good buddies, his name's Ethan. He moved from up here down to Tennessee recently, and he had about 70-ish customers that we had planned in the beginning of the year that I would take over at some point.
Okay.
Just didn't know when that would be, like when his parents would be moving and when he'd be going down there with them. And it was kind of like all a last minute thing. Like within a 4-day period, I had to take over those clients.
70 customers.
Yes, within a 4-day period.
Dude,
and I knew it would be around that ballpark, but for that time, but I didn't know exactly until 4 days before.
Wow. So a good solar owner operator business, 40, 50 customers. That's a stout amount of customers. A 2-man team, 100 customers a week. And it's not customers, you guys know, it's the size of the properties and even more so revenue goal is what I always encourage. Cause you can have 10 1-acre lots, 20 half-acre lots, 30 quarter-acre lots. I don't know, whatever. One hospital, for the day and it's, 20 acres. So I try not to get lost on that, but you absorbed a 40 customer business, a 70 customer business. You're getting your own customers. You're You're closing every other person that you talk to, arguably, with trying to grow your actual core business. So how are you? This is all going on this year. How are you able to maintain and manage all this? And what are you doing to hire people? And how many crews do you have going on to take care of all this?
Yeah, so I guess adding to that, I also acquired a third company as well.
Oh my God, you're like the You're like the Kirby of like lawn care, bro, from Smash Bros. You're like,
yeah,
you suck them in, and then you steal their powers. You know what I mean? So
it was the third one was about 22 customers. So
wow,
it was a lot of customers, and this was all from like that first of my cousins. So like July, August through really the last one that I just acquired was like middle of September. Sorry.
Okay.
So that was later in the year. So the pricing on that one was a little bit different. That was structured differently.
Okay.
That one restructured it off of just 2 weeks of income. Just because it's coming to the end of the year and there's no guarantee that I'm going to have those customers next year.
Right.
But in regards to where we were at with, employee wise, I, in the beginning of the year, had an excess of employees, which was a nice problem to have, but it was also hard because I couldn't employ these guys because I didn't have the work for it at first. And then when I started to need them, they had already gotten jobs.
Oh, sure.
So it was definitely a struggle. And in all reality, we were running 275 clients with me and 3 other guys working.
Mm-hmm.
We were running 2 crews, and stretched very thin, working a lot of times from 6 a.m. until 9 p.m.
Oh yeah.
And it's not, that's for long stretches, that's not realistic to expect your guys to do that. And I actually burnt out 2 of my best workers and ended up losing them for this year. They went on to other jobs.
Oh no.
So it's been a lot of ups and downs, along with quite a handful of passings in my family this year. So it was like a really huge roller coaster we were on this year, worth of stuff. But for employees, I had a couple buddies that worked for me, and then a couple kids who decided not to go back to college for the fall semester.
Okay.
They came and worked with me, and so right now we're down to 2 guys full time as we close up the season. We were at 3, plus myself.
Wow, that's interesting.
Finding guys to work is very hard. I've got ads out on Indeed, ZipRecruiter, Facebook, all over the place, and I cannot find anything.
Well, and I think that was one of your questions, or your follow-up question at LAL. You said, how do I sustain this growth, and how do I find good people or right people? And I think you asked that to Caleb and Corey, and
yeah,
they were both answering like you got to create company culture, incentive plans, keep them on year round. Corey's speech alone was basically probably one of the better ones that for you, if you will, because you're going through all this right now. What have you found is working, and what are you looking to do? Because next year you're going to need you plus 4, 5, 6 guys, 2, 3 crews again. Are you scaling back? Are you punching through? What's the goal?
Yeah, so I think it's going to be dependent on employee structure. Obviously, I think that's number one. I'm taking a step back right now, and have been for the last few weeks, just to try and reevaluate, because I lost those guys and I knew why, but it was hard for me to realize and admit in the moment. So definitely, I would say a piece of advice is making sure you don't just run your employees as rampant as you can, because they don't have the same drive necessarily as you do, and or passion. It's not necessarily like their dream to do what they're doing. It might just be a job to them. And if you're running them, 14, 15 hours in a day, it'll burn them out. So taking that step back and making sure I can really, I've got all these ads out. I've had a handful of people apply. I really just want to take time and vet them, and just make sure who I'm hiring is a good fit for the position. And also, I'm going to try and have a structure set in place for next year where we really don't work past 5 p.m. unless we have a specific landscaping job or, it's a day where we get rained out or something like that.
Right.
That way it's some structure so these guys can just be like, okay, well, I'm applying to this job. I know I can be home for dinner with my wife or my family. That way I don't have to think about like, oh, I'm working until 9 or 10 p.m. and then I have to be back there at 6 a.m.
Yeah, that's really, really good stuff. I am a big proponent of getting done at, believe it or not, I know I'm going to get some pushback, getting done at 3, 4, 5 p.m. And I know where I live, there's crews, I can name names of companies, and you guys know them if you live in the area, and their guys are out 7 to 7, mandatory 50 hours, they're mandatory 10 hours of overtime, and they're 7 to 7, 5 if not 6 and 7 days a week, and they're those folks. They have a life. They're not having fun. They don't get dinner. They don't get to go home to their wife, kids. And for the love of God, they're getting paid 13, 15, 16, 18 bucks an hour. It's not like they're getting paid 120 grand working at Amazon or something. Okay. And you have to give them that work-life balance. And I know we have a 6, 7, 8 month season to get a year's worth of income in, but you gotta be efficient, smart. One thing, Owen, let me ask you this. Because we talk about this a lot on the podcast, is there's a couple different business models and philosophies, and everybody's got their juice, that the Kool-Aid that they want you to subscribe to. And one guy's get 50 people and scale a couple $1 million company, and the next guy, get a $10 million company. Next guy, get a 8-person company and get 2 branches. Whatever. It's just whatever you want to subscribe to. My attitude is you and a couple buddies. Low overhead. I mean, extremely low overhead. Extremely, good pricing and extreme profit. It's me and Rob, and then a couple guys that we have lined up for next year. We're staying small, and we're going to be a jet ski, and we can turn on a dime. What have you found is going to be possibly your approach for next year? Do you plan to scale down, take on your top 200 of those 275, run 2 crews, 4 guys? Are you looking to punch through, take this thing to 1.2, get an office lady, an ops manager, and build a 15-person team? Like what? No right or wrong answer. I'm just curious what's on your mind and how.
Yeah, no, I already kind of have that plan thought out in my head. This whole year, fought depression because of how stressed I was.
Okay.
But I just kept thinking like, oh, the more I grow, the more clients I get, the more money I'm going to make, the more I'll take home. And so like I didn't pause and think. And so I'm probably, I would say coming up this year, I'm probably for at least the beginning quarter of the year, I'm going to scale back. I'll probably bring that down to, like you were saying, around 200.
Mm-hmm.
Run 2 crews, probably 100 per crew per week.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be a lot more realistic for now. That way it allows me to get my feet kind of reestablished. Make sure that the quality is there, because that did start to lack when you grow that fast. And I can say I have guys who are, good what they do. But, when they're trying to fit in 35 yards that, we have to drive 5-10 minutes to, it's a lot of time, to try and fit in that day. So, it's not that they're lazy with it. It's just that they feel like rushed and they have to go as fast as they can. And sometimes they'll forget stuff, and I don't want that, because I like to prioritize quality. And that's, a reason why I feel we should have higher prices than some of these other companies, because quality is very important to me.
Yep.
And making sure we put out a good product in what we do, and that our customer service can be effective as well. And that's something that definitely struggled this year as well. So scaling as fast as I did, it was a lot of things to learn from it. Is that if I am to scale again, I need to make sure that I have a bunch of systems and structures put in place before I, per se, go balls to the wall again like I did this year.
Cool.
I would say definitely scaling back is how we're looking, because my overhead, not right this second, but towards the end of the year, was just ridiculous, because I was running a payment on a new truck, a brand new truck. And in my area, my guys, they're making a minimum a minimum of $20 an hour.
Sure.
Some of my guys that I have working for me, 25. And so that's just for mowing. Like they're not, we don't even have time for landscaping in the heat of the moment with all of this. We did in the beginning of the year, but when I'm paying $25 an hour to a guy to mow grass, my overhead starts to bump out.
Well, that's one thing too, where some of these guys they're just growing and growing and growing, and I'm not opposed to it. It's just I love what you said a second ago, which was have the infrastructure in place to be able to have the bandwidth, right? Because we say it all the time on the podcast. This is just my attitude. There's two ways to grow: you grow and then get people, you get people then grow. And sometimes you can't really control either or. But if you grow and then find somebody, might not be the right person because you're under pressure. And if you find the right person, then it kind of motivates you to grow. And that's I'm actually doing the latter going into 2022. We have somebody lined up. We're going to grow into it. We're not going to like lose money, but we're gonna not be as profitable per se on that person for the first 2 minutes, and then we're gonna backfill and we're gonna get that thing moving. So it's kind of I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. I think the smart thing that you're doing is paying attention to your numbers and figuring out what makes sense. And some folks they're just so top line number, or they're just so I have so many customers, or I have so many trucks, or I have so many rigs, or I have so many crews, and it's like, dude, the game is putting profit in your pocket unless you're here to just employ the whole city and not make any money. I guess if you want to do that, that's fine. So I guess that is your goal, but my goal is to run a lean, mean operation and make profit. I mean, like, period, case closed. So I'm really excited to see what you grow into, like you were talking about, through 2022. And I think well, it's like that old meme that goes around every once a year. It's like quality, price, and I don't know, speed or something like that. It's like pick two. You have a quality product at a high price. There's your Rolex. Or you have low quality and a lot of speed, but for a cheap price, and you're going to get some $100 watch, and they just pump out 1 million units. And there's no right or wrong answer because there's a market for everybody. But work in the above average in the premium market, and you'll have luxury margins with luxury product. So it's that was from Louis Vuitton. He said there's luxury margins and luxury goods. And so if you guys are, I'm just telling you, because man, I did the same thing for the first 10, 11 years, which was just, I was a $20 guy. I was making no money, driving around, just burning things up, the engines on the trucks, the mowers, the weed eaters. And I'd say I don't think we're the highest priced service, but we're middle to above average. Our quality is high, but I always tell my guys, don't rush. There's no reason to rush. We make enough per day to do a good job. I want 0 callbacks, not for the day, for the week, for the month, for the year. There's never a reason to have a callback other than a genuine mistake. And I think this year we had maybe 2 callbacks. I mean, for, doing, I don't know, 80 to 90 properties a week with our HOAs and our commercial, and times that by 26 weeks. I don't know. We visit 1,500, 2,000 sites, whatever it is, and or more times. I don't even know the number there. But only 2 callbacks, and so I'm excited about seeing your quality. Like you said, come back on top and reprioritize a little bit for you and your guys, and find some guys that are sold out to the same vision. That's actually really, really cool. And as you continue to grow, you're paying off that debt, and you're putting more cash in the bank, more cash flow, which is the name of the game. So that's sounds like a good 2022 game plan for me.
Yeah.
Or to me. So, yeah.
It's definitely exciting. And that's like you were saying, is trying to tighten it up and aim for profit. That's kind of the goal I'm at right now, is to just nail it down. I've got my core base now, and that I'm comfortable with. Now I can actually go through and, weed out the customers that, sometimes don't pay for a month, and they're getting invoiced every week, and it's like, come on, dude, like, I know you're getting your bill because you're texting me back.
Sure.
That's the kind of people that you want to try and weed out, that that definitely make it harder for you to have less headaches.
Have you guys moved to a charge card on file system this year or next year?
So I was running with yard books, from start until until 2 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then because it got so big, it was just starting to get a little difficult for me to manage all of that on there. So I switched over to Jobber.
Okay.
I know you run Yardbooks, and I've loved it since I used it, but
yeah,
because I got so big, I just felt like having this would be a little bit more effective for where I was at. So
cool.
I am implementing that next year, the charge card on file, because it's chaotic trying to chase everybody for payment, especially when you have so many clients.
That's I won't say a silver bullet, but it's a very, very necessary thing for a maintenance company in 2021 and beyond, in my opinion, and even the last few years, obviously. When you can get all these folks to charge card on file, and you, like you said, you mow 275 customers, and you put your 4 or 5 weeks in for the month, and at the end of the month you're billing out $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 in maintenance or whatever it is, and your payroll's covered, your monthly payments are covered, your fuel's covered, and you've got some margin. That's when you're able to hire an office dispatch lady or a part-time bookkeeper or something. These different folks that can help you as you build your team to continue to scale and grow and to keep up with the breakneck speed that you guys are growing with. So
yeah,
I'm really pumped for you, man.
I'm very excited.
Do you have another thought there for a quick second, or?
I was just going to say for the office lady, I'm thinking my fiance has been mentioning more and more often that she's wanting to maybe step away from her job and move into that role.
Oh, cool.
So, it'd be nice. Then that would also allow us to maybe be able to get started with the family here sooner than we were thinking we were gonna.
There you go. Well, that's always a cool opportunity there. And if she wants to focus on that and help dial it in and build a company together, that would be awesome, and could be a great partnership. Could not be a great partnership too, just so you know.
Yeah, I know.
I put a little caveat there because Liz and I, we would just not work well together that way, because she would be so driven by what we're making or not making that it would probably. Yep. It would be, I don't know, it'd be an interesting, it's nice not having to take the work home with us is probably the best way to say it. And I had a nice example of it growing up. My dad has owned a company for 30 plus years. Okay.
25, 30, somewhere in that ballpark. And my mom has always just done the office work.
Oh, okay.
So they made it work most of the time, but I also have seen things that I definitely would try to take away and learn from that. So if it's something that I realize that my fiance and I can't work out, I have a couple other people in mind that are already in a role of that sort that would maybe really work out in a position like that for us.
That's awesome, man. Well, good for you guys. Well, we'll try to get you guys back on the show maybe, I don't know, maybe midsummer next year, and we'll get a mid-season update, see how things are going, see where you guys are at, and see what kind of changes you guys have implemented and how the company's structured, and we'll get you back on the show and get a little update. What do you think?
Yeah, that sounds great to me.
I dig it, man. Well, where can people find you if they want to keep up? Because you guys are doing really, really well. We didn't get too much into the numbers, which is totally fine. But I will say that you guys are doing a really good job, and it's cool to hear your story. And you're definitely somebody that I'm keeping an eye on out there as one of the next guys that are putting this thing together big time, man. So where can people keep up with you and find you if they want to go down that rabbit hole?
Yeah, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok. From the Ground Up Landscaping. And we're trying to build our social media presence on TikTok. If we get to 1,000 followers by the end of the year, we're doing a giveaway. So that's definitely a big thing. So
dude, that's awesome.
We're trying for that. So
well, go mow some tall grass or go edge the sidewalk, and you'll get your million followers.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, or go trim some landscape bed backwards, and you'll get 25,000 followers on TikTok. It's I don't know. I don't know. I'm kind of right there, wanting to jump on TikTok, but at the same point,
it's so weird how it works. It's just you put one thing and you're like, that's whatever, and then you look at it the next day and it's oh, there's 50,000 views on that. What?
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. And it's like I probably should for like the media business and like YouTube and like trying to be, if I was trying to be an influencer or like get out there more, that would probably be the smart thing to do. It's just, I don't know, man. I see what people are watching on there and it just seems like a massive time suck. And I don't
100%.
know. I just literally hate wasting your guys' time, as well. Like I don't want to contribute to it because then I'm literally taking you guys away from doing productive work. Like you can learn
That's
stuff.
a big reason why I love podcasts.
Oh,
because
amen.
I've got AirPod Pros that I rock, and they have noise canceling. And so, I mean, even if you're rocking something that doesn't have noise canceling, you can still put your headphones in, and while you're mowing a property, just listen to a podcast. Doesn't matter
Amen.
who it is or what it is. It's so much more productive than listening to music, which is what I did for like my first 3 years of, from when I was 14 to 17, whatever. But I just was like, well, I love to learn. So why would I waste my time watching videos when I could be listening to podcasts and hearing about this stuff while I'm working?
Super smart, dude. Super smart. There's a guy I listen to named Darren Hardy. He calls it net time, N-E-T, net, like no extra time. So if you're already at the gym, you're going to be putting something in your brain, better be something good. If you're driving, he said his car doesn't move unless something good is going into his brain. So go find some Jim Rohn or listen to the Green Industry podcast or something that's going to motivate you and encourage you, or an audiobook where you can learn a new skill or dial in your thinking a little bit, But I'm right there with you, brother. Well, this is really fun. This is a good episode, and I appreciate that you taking the time here. We're actually trying to lock it down the whole day. We were just kind of zipping back and forth. You were free, then I was busy. I got free, then you were busy, and then we're both like, hey, dude, I think we're both just trying to circle around. I don't think this is working in the morning. Why? I'm like, what are you doing around 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon? And you're like, actually, that works perfect. And it's one of those. I actually got stuck on a Target run with the wife, and I enjoy hanging with the wife. I don't enjoy going to Target because I just know, dude, $241 in an hour, and all we bought was Christmas crap. Like, I literally don't even know what we bought. I'm
gotta love it. You don't even know what you got, and then you're like, dude, wait, why was this receipt for $200?
It was 4 bags, and there was no electronics. I was checking out, and the lady, I go, hey, she goes, $241, please. And I go, do you have a financing plan? And the lady next to the line, she started laughing because she had a whole cart full of stuff. And God, I mean, if I had 4 bags, it was $250. I can only imagine what she's burning a hole in her pocket for.
Yeah.
But I don't know. All I got was like, we got some like 2 little White Elephant $25 gifts was like our family's budget for a little White Elephant game, and some wrapping paper. I bought like 2 boxes of little chocolate pretzels for me, and I don't even know, dude. And I'm like, what is happening here? I literally go $241 in an hour.
Maybe Liz snuck something in there.
She had a couple little baby outfits, but that's about it. I don't know, man. Maybe I don't know. There better be a $200 gift card in there to Target, because I don't know, man. The more money I make, here's like I tell a couple friends and personal people, like the more I make, like the more I realize I'm broke, and the more that we all make, the more I'm like, man, it's a big world out there, and I need to start making some good money and get this thing moving, So any which way, that's my little soapbox. But we appreciate the time, and we'll definitely plug your Instagram and stats in the podcast. And guys, give him a follow, check him out, and keep up with his business and what he's got going on through next year. So, Owen, thanks again for taking time to be on the show, brother.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet, brother. All right, man. Well, guys, we'll button it up right here. Thanks for taking some time to listen to this episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Super appreciate the support. 2 quick plugs here as we finish up, guys. Don't forget to leave a rating or review. I know you guys hear that pretty much anytime you hear a podcast, but it is the sauce that keeps everything moving around here, and we definitely appreciate it when you guys do leave those ratings and reviews, because it helps get the podcast surfaced, get some social proofing, help some other folks get some encouraging words that that we got some meat here for them, and they might enjoy listening to the podcast themselves. And we're right near 1,000 ratings and reviews, trying to wrap that up here by the end of the year. It would be such a treat and a blessing if you guys can help me get there. I really appreciate that help. And if you guys can help out, take 2 seconds to scroll down. If you're on iTunes, you can leave a quick rating and review, and 5-star, of course, please. And we appreciate that. So, and then last thing is the whole ball of wax promotion. It's going on through the Christmas Eve, all in 20% off with that. If you are thinking about it, get it. I promise you, it's already good. It's already great of value right now, being $200 off. But outside of that, we got 6 more resources that we're dropping January 1st, which is going to be incredible. And if you are part of the whole ball of wax, you get all the upgrades to anything new we drop on the website forever, including lifetime updates. So, all right, guys. Well, that's what I got for you on today's episode of the podcast. We're going to kick it back over to Marty, Mr. Producer. Take it away.
No doubt that some of you have tuned into this podcast because you've just started or you want to start your own lawn care or landscaping business. Brian has created the How to Start Your Own Lawn Care Business training program. This video course will help you understand the basics and get you moving in the right direction. Some of the topics covered: the startup phase and laying a great foundation, the basics of equipment shopping and purchasing, what to look for when you're shopping for a trailer. I really like the all things marketing and advertising section. The practical tips here alone are worth the cost. The How to Start Your Own Lawn Care Business training program also shows you how to bid and estimate projects. That's helpful just to even see if you want to take on some projects. Brian also shows you best practices for back-end office work and proper workflow. Click the link in the show description for LawEntrepreneurAcademy.com and get the How to Start Your Own Lawn Care Business training program for only $99. And join the thousands of people that we've helped achieve success with their lawn care company.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.